ang tawanan, musika at anong paman. Magkakasama pa rin tayo mga kalamaw. Sa lungkot at ligaya, tabi pa rin ang iyong paboritong tambayan. Broadcasting live from TVH Group of Networks. Ang iyong hipilan, ang iyong tahanan. Number 1 sa Mega Manila.
You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews at 4.
Good afternoon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. It is now 1 p.m. and this is koolNews at 4. We are live on Cool FM Nationwide and also on News Radio 93.1. Let's begin with our top headlines for this hour. The Armed Forces of the Philippines has temporarily disabled some features of its official Facebook page to deny trolls a platform for their suspicious activities. According to the AFP, its moves also aims to hinder trolls' coordinated attempt to spread disinformation. Troll farms are a menace to society, and we choose not to empower inauthentic actors in their coordinated attempt to spread disinformation and malinformation, AFP said in a statement on Wednesday evening. We understand that legitimate followers will be affected by this temporary move. We extend our sincere apologies for the inconvenience and ask for your patience. We hope for your continued understanding and support, it added. AFP likewise urged the public to report malicious activities online and to receive information from reputable sources only. Statements, releases, and information on our activities will continue to be posted on our official channels and legitimate media organizations, it said. Caloocan City Police confiscated more than 23 million pesos worth of shabu, a slang for illegal drug methamphetamine or crystal meth, and arrested 4 people during a bypass operation on Thursday morning. The National Capital Region Police Office said in a statement that among the arrested suspects was a high-value individual whose name it opted to withhold. The NCRPO also said that law enforcement seized 3,420 grams of shabu, valued at 23,256,000 pesos during the operation. Operators from the Eastern Police District Drug Enforcement Unit and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency led the drug sting along King Faisal Street in Barangay 188, Caloocan City early Thursday. The first arrested suspects will face complaints for violating the Dangerous Drugs Act on the possession and sale of illicit substance, according to the NCRPO. This is only the first and of many more high-profile anti-drug operations that we will consistently launch in Metro Manila in adherence to our uncompromising stance against the evils of the illegal drug menace, NCRPO Director Brigadier General Anthony Apurin said in a statement. The Department of Education and the Philippine National University have partnered to advance education policies and improve quality of teacher education through the research initiatives in teacher education program. In a statement on Thursday, Education Secretary Sonny Angara said the partnership was formalized in a ceremonial signing on Wednesday, November 27, which was also attended by Teacher Education Council Executive Director V. Jenny Johnson, PNU President Bert Tuga, and PNU Vice President Teresita Runduin. According to Angara, the RITE program includes 13 priority research projects aimed at profiling teacher education institutions across the country. The RITE program, funded by TEC and executed by PNU, is designed to produce insights to be used as groundwork for pre-service and in-service teacher policy directions and recommendations, Angara said. He also announced that the TEC has extended the designation of Center of Excellence for Teacher Education to 34 universities nationwide for another year. The 34 COEs will assist the TEC in reviewing and reframing the pre-service teachers' education curriculum and help develop a new recognition and performance system for the identification and designation of teacher education COEs, Angara added. DepEd also held discussions with the TEC to explore ways to upgrade the pre-service teacher education curriculum and improve learning outcomes for students. These esteemed institutions will aid us in fulfilling our mandates. We need your expertise in developing innovative solutions. Most importantly, we need your dedication to producing quality teachers who will inspire lifelong learners, Angara said. The government has diverted its focus on improving food security while working on reducing the price of rice, said National Economic and Development Authority Secretary Arsenio Balisacan on Thursday. Balisacan made the pronouncement when asked if the government is still confident that it can achieve its plans to reduce the price of the price of rice to 20 pesos. The NADA secretary, however, responded indirectly, stating that the government is currently focusing more on improving food security. Our trust is to continue improving food security and those are three dimensions: the access to food, and the affordability of food, and the availability of food in broad terms. So it's not just that price. It may be there, but it's not available everywhere in the country. So that's not how we proceed. So I will rather focus on that objective rather than just focusing on the price, he added. According to Bali Sakan, the retail price of rice is currently hovering around 50 pesos and is affected by several factors not completely in the control of the government, particularly world prices and effects of commodities. He also mentioned the current exchange rate with pesos and dollar, which he said would also impact the prices of rice along with other goods. We are focused on reducing prices as to how far that will go. From one view, it's something that we have to be a little bit more careful about, said Bali Sakan. It was Wednesday when the Philippine peso sank to its lowest level in over 2 years at 58.9 pesos to $1. The bicameral conference committee, comprising lawmakers from the Senate and the House of Representatives, officially convened on Thursday to reconcile the conflicting provisions of House Bill number 10800, otherwise known as the 2025 General Appropriations Bill. This year's meeting is being held at Sheraton Hotel in Pasay City. The proposed 2025 national budget amounting to 6.3 trillion pesos is 10% higher than the current national budget of 5.7 trillion pesos, as projected earlier by the Department of Budget and Management. Expected to take the center stage in the discussions is the controversial budget of the Office of the Vice President, which was launched by both chambers of Congress by 1.2 billion pesos. Today, the OVP budget stands at 733 million pesos, but several senators have expressed their intent to bat for a bigger fund for the agency. Senate Panel on Finance Chairperson Senator Grace Poe said the OVP may still appeal for a budget hike during the BCAM process as long as they justify in detail where they would allocate the funds. Apart from this, a controversial provision in the 2025 budget bill is the Ayuda sa Kapos ang Kita program, which contains a whopping 39 billion pesos insertion made by the lower chamber and in turn was removed by the Senate. Once BCAM members have reconciled the conflicting provisions of the bill, it would be returned in both chambers of Congress for rectification. The rectified version will then be transmitted to the Office of President Ferdinand Bobo Marcos Jr. for his signing. Senate President Cheese Escudero earlier said they need to transmit the consolidated measure on the 2025 funding to the policy for the President's approval before the Senate again goes on break on December 20. We expect the approval of the budget at least at the latest the second week of December, at the earliest first week of December, Ito reporters said. Priorities for the budget measure include the following: social services, health, education, jobs, technology, infrastructure, and human development. And a Filipino investment scam suspect listed in an Interpol notice was deported from Indonesia on Thursday, the Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group said. The CIDG said that the fugitive Hector Aldwin Pantolana had been accused of scamming several persons of hundreds of millions of pesos. The warrants have been there since last year. We found him in Indonesia with the help of the Indonesian police. They were able to arrest him. CIDG Acting Director Brigadier General Nicholas Torre III said in a press briefing. The CIDG in a statement on Thursday said that the official turnover of Pantolana to a CIDG personnel occurred at Terminal 2 of Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in Jakarta, Indonesia, in the presence of the Philippine Police Attaché to Indonesia. Pantolana arrived in the Philippines at 5:40 a.m. 15 warrants of arrest for estafa and syndicated estafa have been issued against him. He is currently detained at the Anti-Organized Crime Unit facility at Camp Crame in Quezon City. Torres said that Pantolana and his cohorts have scammed victims from across the country and even overseas Filipino workers. They have several covers in the operations. There's networking, junket, they were able to convince people to invest their hard-earned money in various businesses they claims to be high yield, high returns, Story added. The Securities and Exchange Commission previously filed a criminal complaint against Pantolana and 27 other leaders of casino junket operations for violating the Securities Regulation Code and the Anti-Money Laundering Act. The SEC found out that the individuals were soliciting investments from the public to fund their casino junket operations and financing activities. One of the victims of Pantolana said that they were encouraged to invest their money because of promising investment offers in junkets. The victim, who refused to be named, said that they first believed that the investment scheme was legitimate. Our investment is being used to pay the interest they promised to give monthly. The junket does not exist. The junket house is closed. We found out that the junket house was closed because they are good at encouraging, the victim said in a flash interview. The victim also shared that what makes the investment scheme more believable is because Padolanas invited several well-known personalities to junkets and functions. If we see that they have visitors that we look up to, we think as ordinary citizens that they won't be neglected. We think that they will not invest if they do not have due diligence, the victim added. Meanwhile, Torres said that there is no formal agreement between the Philippines and Indonesia to swap Pantolana with Han Doyo Salman, an Indonesian fugitive who was among the foreigners arrested in the pogo raid in Bataan. Salman is wanted in Indonesia for alleged money laundering, scam operations, and illegal online gambling. It is now 4:11 p.m. as we will return with more news headlines right here on koolNews at 4. Stay along with us. We will be right back.
This koolNews edition was brought to you by Your Ace Supermarket, ang budget-friendly supermarket ng Pilipinas. Now in 6,900 locations around the Philippines and Southeast Asia. MX3 Natural Supplements, verified with alpha, beta, and gamma mangosteen. MX3, tunay, natural at original. And People's Bank, equal banking for the Filipino people. People's Bank of the Philippines is a member of Crosslink and supervised by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Araw-araw ang ating Pasko sa iyong himpilan, ang inyong tahanan.
Number 1 sa Mega Manila.
Naglabas po ang Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation of PAGCOR ng bagong pakete para po sa Community Bingo program po nito. Ayon kay PAGCOR Assistant Vice President Maria Teresa Ocampo, dahil dito ay makakalikom ng mas malaking pondo ang mga organisasyon at lokal na pamahalaan na balak kong magsagawa ng fundraising activities. Base po sa bagong pakete, maaaring kumita ang isang organisasyon ng hanggang 50% ng gross ticket sales. Para sa dagdag na impormasyon tungkol po sa programang ito, tumawag lamang po kay Josie Donna sa 0917-843-0970 o kay Louie Cabanyero 0927-320-6211.
Kahit always blooming bango sa Surf Fab.
New Surf Fab Fresh and Glow. May 3 times amoy pawis shield. Kaya,
Kahit always blooming bango sa Surf Fab.
based on lactase and select fabric versus detergent powder only. Surf!
Patuloy nating suportahan Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, ang tagapagtanggol ng sambayanang Pilipino. Sa Senado, sagot ka ni Bato, mahal tayo ni Bato, pagtatanggol tayo. Sa Senado, sagot ka ni Bato, matapang si Bato, ipaglalaban tayo. Sa Senado, sagot tayo ni Bato.
This advertisement is paid by Ronald De La Rosa.
Kamote!
Kamote naman.
Try mo to. Ha? Ang mura naman!
Dito ka na. Sa mapapamura ka talaga. Move it. Discarding tapat.
Nandyan na naman sila, kanya-kanyang pakilala sa kung alin daw ang totoo at alin ang tama. Basta ako, mula pa nung nakarang Pasko hanggang ngayong Kapaskuhan, ay stick to one lang sa bitaminang gumagabay sa aking kalusugan. Mark C. Vitamin C Plus Zinc. Ang purong bitamina ng ating mga kasangga. Maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon. Hatid sa inyo ng Mark C. Vitamin C Plus Zinc. Mabibili na sa inyong mga suking butika, drugstores dito sa ating lugar. Ang mensaheng ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Mark C. Ascorbic acid plus zinc is the generic name of Mark C. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Pre, makinig ka muna. Payong kaibigan lang ha. Work hard, play hard. Yan ang motto ko dati. Pero nakakapagod din pala katagalan sa gitna ng lahat ng puyat, inom at pagkain ng masasarap. Kasama na ang oily and fatty foods, kailangan pa rin bantayan ang kalusugan. Tamang kontrol ang kailangan. Katuwang ko ang Liverade. Slimerine supplement na best with proper diet and exercise. Cheers to more good times. Salamat sa Liverade. Mabibili ang Liverade sa mga leading drugstores nationwide. Mahalagang paalala, ang Liverade ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat kabiling paggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Going shopping, so many fits to choose. New look, just dab it, just dab it. Shop all out, just dab it, just dab it. Enjoy vacation, just dab it, just even go all out, just dab it, just dab it. Chill out, just dab it, just dab it. Wanna party, wanna dine out, wanna dab it. Just dab it. Vibe out, just dab it, just dab it. Live it up with dab it. Hang with BDO with dab it.
BDO is regulated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
Imanghuan mo na! Biglang traffic, di ba bad trip? Imanghuan mo na! Sunod-sunod na exam. Imanghuan mo na! Pauwi na sana, nag-OT pa. Imanghuan mo na! Bukas ng wallet, puro barya. Imanghuan mo na! Push lang! Push lang! Basta may sarap ng pinagsamang asim at lutong ng chicharon ni Mang Juan. Available rin sa Crispus at Tropic. Push lang! Imanghuan mo na!
Intra na sa Great Taste Greatest Panalo Raffle Promo para sa chance ka magdaog sa over 3 million pesos worth of cash prizes. Magbaka sa Great Taste Premium Classic at Great Taste White Classic. Magtipon sa mga empty packs kaya ihulog ang mga entries sa Dropbox in select stores. Gani, ano pag ginakulat nyo? Intra na! See posters for details. Promo runs from November 1, 2024 to February 28, 2025. DOH FDA CFRR permit number 1115 series of 2024.
Hindi birong maging isang ina. Dapat hands-on ka sa maraming bagay, lalo na sa mga iniinom na gamot. Dapat ready ka. Kaya kapag may sakit sa pamilya ko, gaya ng sakit ng ulo, sakit sa katawan na may kasamang lagnat dulot ng sipon, allergic rhinitis o sinusitis, Simdex D ang ipinapainom ko. Gamot laban sa sintomas ng trangkaso. Simdex D is available in Mercury Drug Stores and other drug stores near you. Phenylpropanolamine hydrochloride chlorpheniramine malate paracetamol is the generic name of Simdex D. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Also available Simdex D Syrup for kids and Simdex D Forte for adults.
Araw-araw ang ating Pasko sa iyong himpilan, ang inyong tahanan.
Number 1 sa Mega Manila.
Welcome back to Cool News at 4. Let's get into the international headlines. The Australian Senate was debating a ban on children younger than 60 years old from social media Thursday after the House of Representatives overwhelmingly supported the age restriction. The bill that would make platforms including TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Reddit, X, and Instagram liable for fines of up to 50 million Australian dollars or $33 million for systematic failures to prevent young children from holding accounts. It is likely to be passed by the Senate on Thursday, the Parliament's final session for the year and potentially the last before elections, which are due in March. The major parties support for the ban, but all but guarantees the legislation will become law. But many child welfare and mental health advocates are concerned about unintended consequences. On the line, Senator Jagui Lampi complained about the limited amount of time the government gave the Senate to debate the age restriction, which she described as undercooked. I thought this was a good idea. A lot of people out there thought it was a good idea until we look at the detail, and let's be honest, there's no detail, Lampi told the Senate. Opposition Senator Maria Kovacic has said the bill was not radical but necessary. The core focus of this legislation is simple. It demands that social media companies take reasonable steps to identify and remove underage users from their platforms, Kovacic told the Senate. This is a responsibility these companies should have been fulfilling long ago, but for too long they have shirked these responsibilities in favor of profit, she added. Senator David Shubridge from the Minor Gains Party said mental health experts agree that the ban could dangerously isolate many children who use social media to find support. This policy will hurt vulnerable young people the most, especially in regional communities and especially the LGBTQI community, by cutting them off, Shubridge told the Senate. The House of Representatives on Wednesday overwhelmingly carried the bill 102 votes to 13. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland urged senators to pass the bill, which she said reflected the Australian community's view. The government is on the side of supporting parents and protecting young people, Rowland told the House. Once the legislation becomes law, the platforms will have 1 year to work out how they could implement the ban before penalties are enforced. The platforms complained that the law would be unworkable and urged the Senate to delay the vote until at least June next year, when a government commission evaluation of age assurance technologies made its report on how young children could be excluded. Critics argued the government is attempting to convince parents it is protecting the children ahead of general elections due by May. The government hopes that voters will reward it for responding to parents' concerns about the children's addiction to social media. Some argued that the legislation could cause more harm than it prevents. Criticisms include that the legislation was rushed through Parliament without adequate scrutiny, is ineffective, poses privacy risk for all users, and undermines parental authority to make decisions for the children. Opponents of the bill also argued the ban would isolate children, deprive them of the positive aspects of social media, drive them to the dark web, discourage children too young for social media to report harm, and reduce incentives for platforms to improve online safety. Fuel is rapidly becoming one of Bolivia's scarce commodities. Long lines of vehicles snake for several kilometers outside gas stations all over Bolivia, once South America's second largest producer of natural gas. Some of the queues don't budge for days. While frustration builds, drivers like Victor Garcia is now eat, sleep, and socialize around their stationary trucks, waiting to buy just a few gallons of diesel unless the station runs dry. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to be worse off, said Garcia, 66, who inched closer to the pump Tuesday as the hours ticked by in El Alto, up where both sprawl beside Bolivia's capital in the Andean Altiplano. Bolivia's months-long fuel crunch comes as the nation's foreign currency reserves plummet, leaving Bolivians unable to find US dollars at banks and exchange houses. Import goods that were once commonplace have become scarce. The fuel crisis has created a sense that the country is coming undone, disrupting economic activity and everyday life for millions of people, hurting commerce and farm production, and sending food prices soaring. Mounting public anger has driven crowds into the streets in recent weeks, piling pressure on Lepes President Luis Arce to ease the suffering ahead of the 10th election next year. We want effective solutions to the shortage of fuel, dollars, and the increase in food prices, said Renirio Vargas, the vice rector of Gabriel Renan Morano Autonomous University in the eastern province of Santa Cruz, where hundreds of desperate truckers and residents flooded main squares Tuesday to vent their anger at Arce's inaction and demand early elections. In a similar eruption of discontent, protesters shouting "Everything is expensive" marched through the streets of the capital last week. Bolivians say Arce's image has suffered not only because of the crisis, but also because his government insists that it doesn't exist. Diesel sales are in the process of returning to normal, Economic Minister Marcelo Montenegro said Tuesday. Arce has repeatedly vowed that his government will end the fuel shortages and lower the prices of basic goods by arbitrary deadlines. On November 10th, he again promised he would resolve this issue in 10 days. As the deadlines come and go, the black market currency exchange rate has risen to nearly 40% more than the official rate. Arce's office did not respond to interview requests. The queues are getting longer and longer, said 38-year-old driver Ramiro Morales, who needed a bathroom after 4 hours in line Tuesday but feared losing his place if he went searching for one. People are exhausted. It's a shocking turnaround for the landlocked nation of 12 million people that was a sort of American economic success story in the 2000s when the commodities bonanza generated tens of billions of dollars under the nation's first indigenous president, former President Evo Morales. Morales, Arce's one-time mentor, is his present-day rival in the fight to be the ruling party's candidate next year. But when the commodities boom ended, prices slumped and gas production dwindled. Now Bolivia spends an estimated $56 million a week to import most of its gasoline and diesel from Argentina, Paraguay, and Russia. Economy Minister Montenegro on Tuesday pledged that the government would continue providing fuel subsidies that critics say it can't afford. Figures from 2 years ago boasting that Bolivia's inflation is the lowest in South America still greet tourists arriving at El Alto International Airport. Now inflation is among the highest in the region. Fuel shortages prevent farmers from getting their produce to distribution centers and markets, triggering a sharp price hike for food staples. Last week in La Paz and neighboring El Alto, hungry Bolivians jumped in long lines to buy rice after much delayed shipments finally arrived from Santa Cruz, the country's economic engine some 850 kilometers or 528 miles away. With the diesel shortage affecting everything from the operation of tractors to the sourcing of machinery parts, the shortage is also hurting farmers during the crucial planting season. Without diesel, there is no food for 2025, cycles Bracarin, the vice president of the Eastern Agricultural Chamber of Bolivia. The prices of potatoes, onions, milk, and milk have doubled in El Alto's main wholesale food market in the past month, further said overshooting the country's nearly 8% inflation rate. Nervous Bolivians are cutting back on their consumption. You have to search a lot to find the cheapest food, said 67-year-old Angela Mamani, struggling to pull together meals for her 6 grandchildren at Alto's open-air market Tuesday. She planned to buy vegetables but didn't have enough cash and went home empty-handed. This week, RC's government presented a 2025 budget with a 12% increase in spending that drew backlash from lawmakers and business leaders who said it would lead to more debt and more inflation. While the governing movement towards Socialism Party tears itself apart in the power struggle between Arce and Morales, both politicians have seen the economic morass as a way to strengthen their positions ahead of 2025 elections. They deny there are problems. They blame external contexts and conflicts, that Bolivian economic analyst Gonzalo Chavez. Morales supporters last month launched a 24-day protest partly targeting Arce's handling of the economy that blocked main routes and spread commercial shipments, costing the government billions of dollars. Security forces broke up the rallies almost a month ago, but on Tuesday, Arce's government continued to blame Morales' blockade dates for spawning the ubiquitous field lights. We need change, said Guiniam Garcia, a 31-year-old architect soaring the grocery hub of El Alto for cheap deals, a once-worthy errand that she said had turned into a nightmare. People don't live off politics, they live day to day, but off what they produce and what they earn. And Russia's army on Thursday launched a massive attack on Ukraine's energy sector, forcing emergency power outages as temperatures dropped to freezing across the country. Ukraine's energy grid has been heavily targeted since Russia invaded in February 2022, with Kyiv accusing Moscow of tactics by trying to plunge European cities into darkness and cut off heating to civilians throughout the winter. The overnight strike comes after 2 weeks of dramatic escalation that has seen both sides launch new weapons to gain an upper hand ahead of Donald Trump being integrated as US president in January. Ukraine's energy minister, German Galushchenko, said power infrastructure was under massive enemy attack after a countrywide air alert was issued for incoming missiles. The Air Force reported a string of Russian cruise missiles and attack drones heading for cities across the country, including the capital Kyiv, Kharkiv in the northeast, and the Black Sea port city of Oseta. Once again, the energy sector is under massive enemy attack. Attacks on energy facilities are taking place across Ukraine, Galushchenko said. National Power Grid operator Urenergo had originally introduced emergency power cuts, he added, as temperatures dropped to around 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Energy provider the tech said Urenergo was introducing emergency power outages in the regions of Kyiv, Odessa, Dnipro, and Donetsk. The nationwide attack was ongoing as of 8 a.m. according to messages from the Air Force. As soon as the security situation will allow it, the consequences of the strikes will be specified, Galushchenko said. It is now 4:20 p.m. and that is it for koolNews at 4. As always, we will return at 6 p.m. later for more latest news headlines, and you can also send us your comments and suggestions at feedback through our email at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. Until later, my name is Carol, and coming up next on Call Fam is Brock Weekdays with JJG. Good afternoon.